the third and final test of the series. New Zealand fields an unchanged lineup. For England, Smith, Foster and Marks come in for Fowler, Pygott and Gatting. New Zealand win the toss and bat first.
Close and short forward leg with the helmet on, but it's Willis to right. And here's the first runs for New Zealand. He just plays it through mid-wicket, and there's a comfortable 2 runs. And this keeping low, a loud appeal, and he's out LBW. New Zealand losing their first wicket in the 3rd over. Bruce Edgar out for a duck.
Going round the wicket, swinging the ball into Edgar, taking full advantage of the angle. Edgar on the back foot, unable to cope with the swing, and LBW.
This one bouncing a little bit. Howth will get 4 for it, though. It just did bounce a little bit. Bouncer, hook from right, and that's 4 runs in front of square.
Here's Willis to Howth. And that's a good shot from Jeff Howth. And Vic Marks has got a big chase on here, and the ball's going to beat him.
Going for the hook, and that'll be 4 runs for right, yes, just behind square. And playing this free, could be 4, it's a short edge down there. And certainly Marks can't get round to cut it off, and so Howth gets 4 for the shot. He goes to 26, and New Zealand now up to 54 for 1.
Foster to right. Wide of the off stump, delightful shot from John Wright, 4 runs.
Cowans to Howth. The wide half volley's edged it to 3rd slip, and he's out. Howth is out in the 1st over, caught by Randall at 3rd slip from the bowling of Cowans. Cowans taking his 1st wicket. He now has 1 for 10, and the 2nd New Zealand wicket going down with a total at 74. That of Geoffrey Howe for 35.
That's a good delivery, that's it. Not quite to the pitch of the ball with his front foot, perhaps playing a little bit too early. Nicely taken in the slips.
Right on 46, not 47. And the total at 93 for 2. And he's edged this one, and this will bring up Wright's 50. It was a streaky shot, but a thick outside edge, but enough bat on the ball to defeat Botham at slip. And so Wright goes to 50 with that shot.
Marks to right, given plenty of width and hit through the covers again, 4 runs. Delightful shot from John Wright. Oh, a shot of authority from Martin Crowe, 4 runs down to mid-off. Very good play indeed from the young Auckland batsman. So the last ball of the over, Willis to Crowe. And through the slip and gully cord and down to the boundary at 3rd man for 4 runs. In the air a little, but basically a safe shot, and Martin Crowe moves to 16.
Edged it to slip, and he's out, caught at 2nd slip by Ian Botham. Just prodding forward at this one, Martin Crowe. And so Crowe is out for 16. A good catch, in fact, a great catch from Botham. That's if he wasn't poaching from 1st slip. And so the 3rd wicket goes down with the total at 111.
Just watch for brilliant fielding from Ian Botham. Absolutely magnificent catch. Great delivery by Willis, just leaving Crowe. Just pushing at that ball outside the off stump, and magnificent fielding from Ian Botham.
Botham play acting a little to entertain himself as he comes into right. Well up, and that's a good strong shot for 4.
Short, and a nice shot from John Wright, 4 runs away through the covers.
Bob Willis.
Short, and a nice shot from John Wright, 4 runs away through the covers.
Bob Willis, the first delivery on the 2nd day of this test match to John Wright. And he'll get runs for the shot as he plays it just in front of square, going back for 2. Comfortably through for 2 runs. And so John Wright now goes on to 73. Well up, good shot from Wright. That's straight down the ground. Should be 4 runs, heading towards the side screen. Cowan's not able to pull it in.
Cowans bowls to right. It's outside the off stump, clipping it away on the offside, and it's backward of point for 4 runs. Lovely shot, John Wright. Moves John Wright on to 90. Quick marks to bowl to John Wright. Short of a length, and Wright hitting it away through the mid-wicket area, 4 runs.
Foster to Wright. Wide, going for the cover drive, and that'll be his 100. Just behind points, John Wright, a wide half volley, extending towards it, giving it the full swing of the bat, and Wright goes to 100 exactly in the 83rd over, and there's his statistics for you: 254 deliveries in some 333 minutes. A real workmanlike 100 from Wright.
Tested positive.
Should she stay?
Short, hooked away for 4 more. Some frustration here coming from Foster. So Ian Botham with the new ball, bowling to Jeff Crow. And that's a good shot too. That'll be 4 runs just in front of point. And so the very first ball we'll see with the second new ball from Botham is dispatched for 4, and that's the 50 for Crow. In 116 deliveries.
Willis to Wright. That's fuller of length, and John Wright driving beautifully on the offside, and the fielders can give that one away. It's going to be 4 runs. John Wright moves on to 126 with a beautiful cover drive. So Willis to Wright. Oh, and that's clean bowled him. Kept a little low. Wright played inside the line, knocks out his off stump, hits a little on middle, and John Wright's out for a brilliant 130. And the score is 265 for 4.
Around the wicket. John Wright looking to come forward. He seemed to play round it, as you see the angle of the bat, and it sneaked through between bat and pad.
Oh, and Coney didn't know where that one had gone, but in actual fact, it's probably going to run away down to the 3rd man boundary for 4. Although the ball slowing up in pace, it will be dragged in.
Coney on 9. Oh, and this one's bowled in all over the place. Coney looking to work it onside, as he has been doing. The line of the ball on off stump, and Jerry Coney is out for 9, and so now the 5th New Zealand wicket is down with a total at 293.
Norman Carnes. There it is. Played it nicely. Beaten. Graham Fowler after it. A good piece of fielding there.
Marks extracting a little turn, not quick turn, but a little turn from this wicket, away from the left-handed Richard Hadley. Oh, and it's bowled in. Kept a little low, little turn. Richard Hadley on the back foot, probably should have played forward, and it's bowled him off stump.
Marks to Crow. Oh, and he finds the gap nicely. 4 runs to Jeff Crow. He moves to 98. Faces Norman Cowans. Full toss. That will be at least one of them. Foster chasing at mid-wicket, and Jeff Crow is back for 2. He's 100, and Eden Park rises to the Auckland captain. .326 for 6. McMarks. 6. McMarks in his 33rd over to Jeff Crow. Short, and Crow has been bowled. The off bail has been removed, and a sad way for a great innings by Jeff Crow to finish.
Right up in the block hole. Good strong shot through mid-off. That'll be 4 runs to Cairns. Over toss by Cowan. Marks to Smith. Well up, and hitting this one in the air, and it goes over the top. And so Smith gets his 50 with that shot. He goes to 51. And once again, he hits it in the air. Cowans is underneath it and takes the catch. A good running catch away down to his right. Cowans on the move. Cairns flicking it way down to long leg. And so New Zealand's 8th wicket goes down with the total at 451. Cairns is out for 28. He's let this one hit him on the pad. He's out LBW. Bob just offering no shot at all.
And that's Clyde Smith going for the big hit onto the leg side. And that's 4 runs. Takes Smith into the 90s. He's 92. So Foster to Smith, who's on 99. It's down the leg side. He's done it. It's backward and square. 1 run. Ian Smith is 100.
Well into the 3rd day, New Zealand declare at 9 for 469, courtesy of hundreds to Wright, Jeff Crow and Smith. The rather pedestrian England bowling attack lacked penetration and was dealt with accordingly.
First ball of the England innings, Headley to Fowler, and he's out first ball. Eden Park has gone berserk. Headley to Smith. Oh, and through the slip cord and down to the boundary at 3rd man for 4 runs. A streaky shot. Smith's off the mark. Oh, and David Gower is out. Bok has struck again. England 48 for the loss of 2. Smith's off the mark. Oh, and David Gower is out. Bok has struck again. England 48 for the loss of 2 with Gower out for 26.
Oh, and that's a loud appeal, and he's given out LBW for 49.
Well, Alan Lamb, it's been an interesting innings from him. He's fought very hard in his own cause, in the English cause, and Lance Cairns coming on with his first delivery with a new ball from the southern end of Eden Park. It whipped in a wee bit, and umpire Fred Goodall lifted the finger high, and Alan Lamb was given out. So the first English wicket gone today.
And with the shot, Randall gets off the mark. Single down to Chatfield at long leg. And so that's the 150 for 3. And there is not a murmur around the stadium. And that one edged just to the left hand of first slip. And Jeff Crow not able to catch up with it. It was a real bootlace job.
And the ball again cutting away very nicely indeed. Gets the outside edge. Now let's have a look at the ball, whether it reaches him. No, just falling short. Perhaps Crow should have come forward for that catch rather than waiting for it.
And that's gone right over the top. There's a loud appeal for caught behind. And Randall rubbing his hip.
Right, the ball really cutting back sharply, getting between pad and bat, and Headley and the wicketkeeper Chris Smith, Ian Smith, quite confident. And we have got to see whether the ball really did hit the inside edge of the bat. But it was a magnificent delivery.
They began today at 54 for 2. The only man out, Lamb, for 49. It's currently 169 for 3. Full of length and driven hard by Chris Smith. It ricocheted a little, perhaps, off the hand of Ewan Chatfield. Down to the boundary at mid-off for 4 runs. And England moved to 173 for 3, with Chris Smith moving to 70. This time Randall dancing down the wicket. They're going to come back for 2 runs. And a throw from Lance Cairns from the outfield, which smashes the stumps of the bowler's end, but Chris Smith was well home. Some fine coconut shy throwing there from Cairns. Here's the shot. Dancing down the wicket, playing it to mid-wicket. Cairns around quickly, pick up throw and smash.
On the leg side, plays it nicely, very fine, and it's going to be runs. 4 more. Lance Keynes just going down the leg side. Smith very quick. Watch the turn of the bat. How nicely it was controlled.
He's going to cut him into the offside. He does. He gets it past John Wright at point. It's a close chase, but John Wright can't make it, and it's 4 runs to Derek Randall. And Smith driving on the offside. It's through the gap between point and cover. He'll take 2 as Bruce Edgar throws it back to Jeff Howth, who throws it into Ian Smith. And that's the England 200. They move to 201 for 3.
Not a great delivery to start off a bowling spell from Jeff Howth. Short and outside the off stump. And Smith has got 2 runs down to third man. Good throw from down on the fence. Now will Randall treat these tossed up deliveries from Howth. This is Howth's 4th over. Short and punched and straight through Richard Hadlee at cover. Away out to the boundary for 4. Hadlee, I think, was a bit done by an unfortunate bounce there. Well flighted, but Randall can't get it away. Bock is the fieldsman. At mid-wicket, as he returned it to the stumps, Derek Randall did the wicket-keeper's job.
Yes, well, let's look at this. It's quite amusing, really, and the throw coming back from Stephen Bock, and Derek Randall caught it, much to the surprise of Ian Smith and everybody in the ground.
219 for 3. Here's Howth to Smith. It's a bit faster and a bit flatter, and Smith has found a gap nicely between mid-wicket and mid-on. Now the ball is going to have a very good contest with the outfield here, and it stops a matter of inches inside the rope. And hang on, it could be a run out. There was a bit of indecision because in the end they've gone through and run 4 anyway.
Randall facing Hadlee. Outside the off stump, Hadlee as usual on target. Let's have a look at that delivery again. Just outside, and Randall did have a go at that one and then decided rather late to pull his bat with.
So it's Hadlee to Randall. Short outside the off stump. Randall clipping it into the offside. Go through for a quick single. John Wright, the fielder. Randall moves to 31. And the England total to 204. So Chris Smith's on strike. He's on 90. Richard Hadlee, the bowler, from the Dominion Road end of the ground. Angling into the off stump, and a thick inside edge from Smith goes onto his pad, runs out to cover where Jeff Howth fields. So the great New Zealand fast bowler, Richard Hadlee, that's his test career. Extremely impressive in any company. And that wraps up Smith on the pads. Is allowed appeal. Umpire Goodall says no. Richard Hadlee turns round and quite confident there that was out. But that's the end of the over. 2-2-4 for 3.
Here is that last ball. Let's have a look. Smith coming forward, ball cutting into him. And from that angle, I would say that it would have missed the leg stump. But there was a very confident appeal.
Yes, certainly the New Zealanders looked very confident about that, Billy Badola. So Hadlee to Randall. It's on the line of the stumps. Randall working it into the onside, but Martin Crowe mid-wicket as the fielder. No run. And Martin Crowe's popped out to mid-wicket there. He still has the helmet on. And that's because to Chris Smith they've got that short leg. But to Derek Randall, he's out at mid-wicket. So to save time, still keeps the helmet on as Hadlee bowls to Randall. And that's a delivery that beats Randall outside the off stump. So a game of cat and mouse here between Randall and Howth. It's given plenty of air, and Randall gets to it on the full, pulls it into the onside,
And from deep mid-wicket, John Wright, the fielder, 1 run.
Yes, that was the delivery, really. But Randall, man of lot of experience, got the ball, hit it down, took a single.
And now the field coming in on the leg side for Smith. And Smith forward defensive. End of the over, 227 for 3. Bright sunshine at Eden Park. Certainly no problems with the light at the moment. And looks as though we'll go through till 6 o'clock as Hadlee bowls to Randall. And that's edged to slip, but it didn't carry. And Randall didn't get over the top of that ball.
That's Randall again having problems against Hadlee, edging it. The outswinger, but didn't really carry. Fell well in front of Jeff Crow there.
And Hadlee will be the bowler from the Dominion end of the Dominion Road end of the ground. A couple of slips in a gully. And panning out to the offside. Point, cover, mid-off. And kicking it into the onside through mid-wicket. And the pace of the ball is going to beat Martin Crowe. It's 4 runs to Derek Randall. He moves to 49.
Yes, that's a lovely shot there. Randall coming forward, full extension of the arms and turning the bat. And the ball went very, very quickly on the onside for 4. Let's have a look. Nicely played. Loves that shot, Derek Randall.
Hadlee bowling to Randall, and that's fuller of length and almost York's Randall. Smith calls him through for a single as it goes backward of square. And that's Randall's 50.
And that's the shot that got Randall his 50. A perfect Yorker from Hadlee. Digs it out. The ball goes on the leg side. Martin Crowe, the fieldsman. Randall gets his 50. It's been a good innings by Randall.
Now we hear left arm round, and certainly is. It's Hadlee left arm round. Oh, and he got a little bit of turn as well. Smith perhaps very lucky not to get bowled around his legs.
And that's a sight you don't very often see. Richard Hadlee bowling left arm spinners. That was the last ball of his previous over. Got it on the pitch.
So now it's Chatfield to Randall. Randall outside the off stump and pulling it right across to the onside. It's hit straight to John Wright, though, at mid-on. And Billy Badalla, good technique shown by Hadlee.
I thought he did it pretty well, actually.
Certainly made it turn. So it's Chatfield to Randall. Oh, and that almost hits Randall's leg stump as he moves right across outside the off stump and exposes the wickets.
And Randall there again providing a lot of entertainment. Coming down the pitch to a medium pacer, missing it, and then having to go back quickly. Let's have a look again. Man full of action, full of entertainment. Has played a very good hand of 50 here.
Lance Cairns will be bowling to him from the southern end. Leg spinner. And that's just too good. That's beaten everything. Beaten the outside edge of the bat and the stumps.
Yes, well, this certainly looked like it got some turn, and it did, and opened Chris Smith up, and how it missed the edge, how it missed the wickets, I'm not quite sure, but it certainly did. But a good ball by Lance Cairns. Completely deceived.
Uncle Fred looking up there at the plane. I wonder whether he's done the right thing. So it's Cairns.
Oh, and that's caught behind. Smith is out. Cairns got this one to leave the right-handed Smith again. And so the fourth England wicket goes down to 234. Smith for 91, having been on 91 for something like 35 minutes and having faced 395 deliveries.
Well, certainly a marathon effort by Chris Smith. Let's have another look at it. Just moving away a shade. He pushed out at it, caught the outside edge, went through to Ian Smith, who made no mistake, and Chris Smith was on his way. But certainly a great effort for England, great effort by Chris Smith, his highest score in Test cricket. A very appropriate moment for him to dig in And a long, patient innings by him is over.
There we have Bob Taylor, but it's Chatfield now to bowl to Randall. And it's good to see Randall entertaining us a little bit. Quite a funny man. And he's charging and giving himself room one way and the other and striking the ball from outside off stump when it's full onto the onside. A born clown. And he's only been there for 156 balls for his 50. And that's a good shot, effortless too, and that could be 4 runs. Yes, Edgar gives it up, and that's a fine shot. Just a little bit of width, and he timed it perfectly.
Certainly. Watch how effortless this is, just standing up, really leaning into it, guiding it away forward a point, and it raced away for 4.
Oh, what a pinger. How about that then? Pitched off, left him, and beat Randall all ends up.
Yes, what a good ball. Watch the line of it, and it left Randall. He pushed forward at it. Oh, didn't know where it was. Through to Smith. Great delivery, Ewan Chatfield.
And almost going back onto his stumps, played it down, hit the toe of the bat and dribbled back towards his stumps.
Yes, let's have another look at this shot. Yes, that just rolled around the stump area, but fortunately for Bob Taylor, not directly at the stumps. I do wonder, Glenn Turner, whether the players are going to leave the field shortly, because it is very gloomy, as you say.
Yes, it certainly is. And this time, Randall realising the abilities that Chatfield has to move the ball away from the right-hander these days, not just back into him. And very wisely lets this one go by.
Well, the players went off the field 4 minutes early because of bad light, and so brought to an end a day which hardly produced much in the way of scintillating cricket, but it was a vital day as far as England's cause is concerned in this Test match. In all, just 184 runs scored for the loss of 2 wickets, Lamb for 49 and Chris Smith for 91. So both of those players battling well, but then missing out on milestones that were well within their reach. Lamb's half-century, and certainly Chris Smith's first Test century, was missed by 9 runs. In all today, 107 overs were bowled at the England batsmen. 48 of them were maidens. So England did their job today. They had to go out and bat. They had to stay there. They had to survive, and they had to get through without losing too many wickets. And in that task, they've been very well, they should be very well pleased with their job for today. So let's go to the card at stumps. 238 for 4. The follow-on target has still not been achieved. That's 297. And the batsman out today, Chris Smith, Court Smith, bowled Cairns for 91. And then Alan Lamb, LBW, to Cairns for 49. At the end, Derek Randall there on 54 not out. He's been there just under 3 hours, and with him the night watchman Bob Taylor not out yet to score. So, as I mentioned before, not what you'd call a scintillating day's cricket. Let's now go to the New Zealand bowling figures. Lance Cairns, the most successful of the New Zealand bowlers, 2 for 24 off 25 overs. And wicketkeeper Bob Taylor, who had yet to score. Watchman Bob Taylor not out yet to score. So, as I mentioned before, not what you'd call a scintillating day's cricket. Let's now go to the New Zealand bowling figures. Lance Cairns, the most successful of the New Zealand bowlers, 2 for 24 off 25 overs. And wicketkeeper Bob Taylor, who had yet to score. We join the action now in the first over of the day. It's Lance Cairns bowling to Bob Taylor.
And a half-hearted appeal from Cairns, just wrapping Bob Taylor on the pads, yet to get off the mark, but going down the leg side. And this one going through, and very fortunate not to play it on. Got an inside edge onto his pad, and it went by the off stump, or perhaps just a little over.
Let's have a look at that in-swing from Lance Cairns again. Really going away through bat and pad and dropping well short of Ainsmith behind the stumps.
And a loud appeal for LBW.
Not out, over.
Not getting very far forward, and so end of the over, 238 for 4. And that one just not bouncing at all. Bounced twice, in fact, before it got through to the keeper, Smith.
Yes, that one pitched and went almost all along the ground. Let's have a look at the bounce, if there was any. But it wasn't all that far from his off stump. Cut back a bit.
And that's a more forceful shot from Bob Taylor. He'll get a couple of runs for the shot. Edgar in pursuit. So that's a 2 to Bob Taylor. He gets off the mark, in fact, with that shot.
After 25 minutes.
Yes, that's not a bad shot at all. Didn't put a great deal of power into it, but the ball went very quickly. He must have a good bat there, Bob Taylor. Have a look. Just pushes it forward, and the ball really traveled quickly.
Braun beaten outside the off stump. This one left him off the pitch and a little quicker. Cairns varying his pace nicely here.
Yes, Bob Taylor not perhaps good enough to be playing that stroke so early in the innings. Just trying to open up his shoulders, not making any contact. And that's the man, Cairns, who started to bowl his in-swingers again, and occasionally he's moving the ball away from the bat. It's Cairns to Taylor. Down, kept low, loud appeal. Not from Cairns, though.
Keeping a little low, there'll be a single here for Randall as he plays it behind square. So he goes on to 57, a total up to 243. And this is just a fine edge down the leg side. It could well beat Bok. In fact, it does. It goes for 4 runs. So just a fine edge down the leg side brings 4 for Randall, and he goes on to 61. Leg spin, a loud appeal for an LBW here from Cairns and those behind the stumps. And Cairns looks in disbelief.
Let's have a look at that. Slower delivery. Randall coming forward.
And there'll be at least one here as it goes past Jerry Coney. Just a single. So Randall's on to 62.
And Randall, let's have a look at those arms and the extension of the arms in the bat. So easily done.
Short and well hit by Bob Taylor. Confident appeal for an LBW. As Randall overbalanced coming forward into that shot.
Down again and getting rather too close, giving himself room, getting outside leg stump to free his arms. Going down the wicket and a bad shot from Taylor. I've seen him hit straight and well, but he really slogged across the line, managed to get it out behind square leg.
Yes, Taylor going down the wicket, looking first of all to hit it straight and then finding he's not there and just pulling right across the line. And if he misses that, he runs the risk of a bowled or a stumping.
Going down, and that wasn't a good shot. He'll take 4. But once again, Randall going down and looking as though he's going to hit it straight, and then once again hitting across the line. Smith at the ready behind the stumps. Down again, and yes, is he stumped? In fact, he is. His first stumping in Test cricket. And certainly the way the batsmen were charging, he was going to have every chance if they missed it. And so the 5th England wicket goes down with a score of 284. That of Bob Taylor for 23.
Well, I didn't think we'd see it, the ball after we'd just commented on it, but there you see he's not covering the flight of the ball. He's just trying to hit it in the leg side and leaves the wickets exposed. It misses the wickets, but Ian Smith has plenty of time to stump Taylor.
You see how Smith taking it well there, and Bob Taylor's miles out. Bok to Botham. And looking for a single, and Randall screaming no, turning it. chance of getting Botham off the mark, and wisely so.
Derek Randall. Oh, a good delivery. Randall playing forward. The ball seemed to leave him a little.
Here's an illustration of how Martin Crowe, as he beats the outside edge of Derek Randall's bat, how he's very capable of producing a very, very good ball. And this makes him a useful change bowler and a useful partnership breaker.
Oh, a good delivery. Ian Botham so close to getting an edge on that one.
Ball leaving Ian Botham on a lovely length.
And he gets a bouncer, albeit a friendly one, which he's not overly interested in. So that's lunch on the 5th and final day of the third Rothmans Test here at Eden Park in Auckland. And England go to lunch at 291 for the loss of 5. Beginning the morning at 2:38 for 4. Bob Taylor, the only man out. Stump Smith, Bob Bock for 23. Botham is 4 not out. Derek Randall still 21 runs short of that 100, which no doubt he'll be working his way to this afternoon. He's 79.
And it's Stephen Bock bowling the first ball after lunch to Randall. Looks as though he gets a nick on it, and then onto his pad around the corner for a single. Charging, hitting it away over extra cover, into the stand. 6 runs for Ian Botham. And so he goes from 5 to 11 with that hit. It's Crowe. Oh, good shot by Randall. This could well be 4 runs just in front of square. It is, and so Randall on to 86.
Which means that he's the first player in this tour to get 500 first-class runs. And unless Botham gets 193, he'll be the only one.
That's a strong shot through the covers, not even having to move. He punished this just wide of Chatfield's left hand. And Randall once again yelling rags at himself. He got caught there, didn't know whether to play forward or back. In the end, he got caught on the crease, not making a positive movement. He's quite angry with himself. 98th over with the second new ball. Stephen Bock to Randall. Driving through the covers, that's 4. Split between mid-off and extra cover. Good strong shot going down to meet the ball, and so Randall goes on to 97.
This particular ball that they're using is into its 99th over. So New Zealand can have a new one any time they want. Bowled by Martin Crowe. Good line, good length. Derek Randall already with a century in the series, 164 at the Basin Reserve in Wellington. Had a first ball and a top score in the Christchurch loss. Lapping this one, just 1 run. Martin Crowe coming in off the fence at backward square leg. So Randall is 99. 3-3-4 for 5. 4 boundaries and a 6 so far for Ian Botham in his 31 runs. This time it's on the leg side and hit high, wide and handsome over square leg for 6. Botham is 37. And England moved to 345 for 5.
Well, that really is high-class, entertaining stuff. Swinging the bat strongly.
It's another powerful drive. This time it's almost a thick outside edge. Bock giving chase, but it's 4. In Botham to 41. 349 for 5 is the England score. 14 runs off the over so far. Short and hooked, and that's going to be 4 more through mid-wicket. That's 18 runs off the over. England's 350 is up, 353 for 5, and Ian Botham is 45. Randall on 99, facing Stephen Bock. And Botham's going to go through for a single. Randall is home. There's no signal from the umpire. That's Derek Randall's 100. Derek Randall's 7th Test century. And congratulated by his England teammate Ian Botham. And Randall's 2nd century in this series. Just flicking it round the corner. Botham calling him through from the non-striker's end. Is the new delivery, the new ball. Well, if you want to get the shine off the new ball in a hurry, there's one of the best ways I know. Short outside the off stump, and Ian Botham cuts it to the boundary for 4. Ian Botham is 50. England at 3:59 for 5. And again, this time Bok makes a valiant attempt to field it. Bruce Edgar's giving chase from cover, but it's 4 more. Botham 54, 3:63 for 5. High in the air over mid-off. 1 bounce and 4 more into the number 4 stand. Shine is going off this new ball very quickly with those blows from Ian Botham. He's 58. It's 3:67 for 5. And Randall is out. It's a good catch by John Wright at point. Randall is out for 104. England are 371 for 6.
It's the ball, the outswing. Randall not coming into it, just standing there and playing with the swing, hitting the ball in the air. And very nicely caught at point by Crow.
Botham facing Hadley. Oh, and that's dropped at first slip by Jeff Crow. The outside edge running from Botham's bat in the air to the right hand of Jeff Crow at first slip, but he put it on the grass.
Very, very high-class delivery by Hadley. Pitching, cutting away, takes the outside edge. And Jeff Crow unable to hold the catch.
And Richard Hadley putting in a very steady performance here. 33.2 overs, 8 maidens, and 1 for 75. And of course, it was Hadley's first ball in his spell that he took the wicket of Fowler. Seems a long time ago now. And the last 50 came up in just 30 minutes. Easily the fastest 50 in the match.
Came off 9 overs and 1 ball. Ben.
Thank you, Bill. And he's edged it between first and second slip, and that was a definite chance. It went fairly quickly, particularly off this pitch, but neither Crow nor Coney being able to latch onto it.
There, Mark's playing away from his body to a shortish delivery.
And edged behind and is out. Mark's stretching away from his body. And Chatfield, good to see Charlie Chatfield coming to light here, picking up his 2nd wicket. And so the 7th England wicket now has fallen with the score at 387. That of Marks for 6.
Again, as he did in the previous overs, you see the huge gap between bat and pad, stretching way out to the offside, getting a thick outside edge, and Ian Smith taking a very good catch.
And there's a loud appeal for an LBW. It kept low. And that looked like a good shot. It'll be really worth seeing it on replay. Hadley obviously disappointed.
Well, any bowler in the world would certainly ask for that one.
And noticing that Foster has got a different type of helmet on, one with the bars. And that's a good take off the pad down the leg side there by Ian Smith.
Well, what a great series Ian Smith's been having, and there, a beautiful one-handed take down the leg side. Very much more subdued Ian Botham than we saw in the post-lunch period.
That's when the ball was very old, though. That was the second ball of the innings. Once the new ball arrived, he hit the first 3 balls for 4, and he's quietened down pretty much since. Oh, and he very nearly dragged that one back onto his stumps, looking for the big shot through the offside, inside edge, onto his boot.
Yes, a big swing, and he doesn't get his feet across at all, which means that the bat's not in the right position to take advantage of that wideish ball from Hadley, and jams down on it on the bottom edge.
Botham's on 70, facing Richard Hadley. That's a fine shot. Lovely piece of fielding by Coney, and Botham will be run out. Foster did not respond to Botham's call. Botham kept going. Jeremy Coney made a marvellous stop at cover. Threw the ball back to Smith, and Botham was stranded in the middle of the pitch, and that's a sad way for a fine innings from Ian Botham to come to an end.
Well, what a great piece of cricket. There's Botham hitting it like a tracer bullet. Into the covers. Coney's diving. He's still alert, head up. Arm in a position to throw it. A lovely throw back to Smith, still lying on the ground. Botham giving Foster a bit of a glare there, but a magnificent piece of fielding. And that's the end of Botham. From another angle, bang, into the covers she goes. Jeremy Coney, hand on it straight away, and a lovely return to Ian Smith.
Richard Hadley cannot believe that that was not given out LBW.
Well, we can only assume that that pitch is outside off, and with Bob Willis playing a shot, that is the reason umpire Woodward turns down the appeal. But Richard Hadley very keen on that one.
It's an appeal for a catch behind, and this time Hadley has got his wickets. Bob Willis didn't like the decision. Ian Smith takes another catch. Richard Hadley has got his second wicket of the innings. Willis is out for 3. It's 396 for 9.
Just pitching outside off stump. Willis closing the face of the bat. There's a loud appeal from the slip cordon. Smith and Hadley. Umpire Woodward gives him out. Bob Willis stares back down the wicket in disbelief.
Cowans gets himself off the mark here. In fact, Chatfield has to work very hard to prevent a 4 in the end. He just gives it a little assistance through his foot. That's the English 400, 401 for 9, and Norman Cowans gets 4.
So that's Neil Foster on strike. He hasn't had much of the strike recently. He's on 1. Hadley the bowler. It's a short ball, and it's pulled away around the leg side. In fact, he's pulled it away quite nicely, square of the wicket, and that's 4 runs to Foster.
It was actually a very good shot from Foster. He saw the ball dug in short, up on his toes, and over the top of it, got it off the middle of the bat.
Bop to Foster. And Foster going for a drive in the air over Sterling at mid-off, and that's 4 runs. Oh, and perhaps that was a mis-stumping as Foster jumps down the track to try and hit Bock in the air over the leg side, and it runs away for a couple of byes.
That was the first, I think one can say, first major error of Ian Smith. Behind the stumps, just couldn't take the ball cleanly. It's a difficult take, but as a top-class keeper, he should have been able to manage that.
Chatfield accounts. And Counts a lovely off drive, just wide of the outstretched foot of Chatfield, and that's a beautiful shot for 4.
Yes, that's a good straight drive by young Counts.
Back to Foster, and he goes for a big hit over the wideish mid-on area, and that's 6.
That's his first 6 in Test cricket.
That's a good blow by Foster. Going down the pitch, hitting it slightly against the spin.
Pony to Counts. And that's a googly, and Counts launches into it. He hits it high over mid-off. 4 more runs.
Have a look at that swing. Hammers it.
Box to Counts. There's an appeal for a catch. It's out. That's the end of the English innings. Lance Cairns from Silly Point catching Norman Counts, back pad of Stephen Bock, and England are all out for 439.
And that's Bock getting another wicket in this test match, getting Counts to come forward, bat and pad, and Lance Cairns is there. Right-hand job, quite happy, end of the England innings.
So the England innings finally came to an end at just gone 5 o'clock on the 5th and final day. A massive 227 overs and 3 balls. The last man out, Norman Cowan's, caught Cairns bowled Bock for 21, and England all out for 439. And of academic interest, I suppose, is the fact that England trailed New Zealand on the first innings by 57 runs. In total, 7 bowlers used by Geoffrey Howarth, the New Zealand captain, but certainly his 4 regulars did most of the work. Hadley, Cairns, Bock and Chatfield all bowling over 40 overs. Stephen Bock getting through 61 overs and 3 balls of left-arm spin, 28 maidens. He finished up as the most successful bowler, 3 for 103. Ewan Chatfield, 2 for 72, conceding less than 2 runs per over. And Richard Hadley and Lance Cairns also turning in very steady marathon performances. Well, New Zealand came into bat at 5:10 on the 5th and final afternoon, and John Wright and Bruce Edgar batted through comfortably enough against Willis and Cowan's 2 stumps at 5:30. John Wright was 11 not out, and Bruce Edgar had yet to score. There were 5 extras, and New Zealand finished at 16 without loss. So when stumps were drawn at 5:30, New Zealand led by 73 runs with 10 second innings wickets in hand, but that was the end of the match, so it was a draw and a win to New Zealand by 1-0 in the series. Certainly an historic moment in New Zealand, and after the game I spoke to the New Zealand captain, Geoffrey Howarth. It's been a fantastic 5 years for you as the New Zealand captain. You began by winning against the West Indies back in 1980, but would this perhaps be the highlight of all?
Well, like you said, there's been 1 or 2 highlights, and they're very hard to distinguish, but obviously the first time to beat England in a test series is it'll probably sink in a couple of days' time or a couple of months' time, but it's very pleasing to beat them, especially after we did reasonably well in England, and unfortunately lost our way a bit in the 3rd and 4th test in England, and so it's nice to come back and with confidence play and I think convincingly beat them in this test series.
Yes, we talked in Christchurch about the fact that New Zealand has sort of let the advantage slip in the last couple of years against Australia and in England. It was very obvious to people watching here that you were determined not to let the advantage slip in 1984.
Yes, well, that's what we, I think the couple of months after the lads got home after England, to sit down and think about why perhaps that we did let ourselves down to a certain extent in England, and to get to thinking a bit more positively about the series that we've just had, and I think they did do that, and they've played with confidence. They've played as a very good unit. We've thought about the game a lot more perhaps than what we did in England, and we've stuck to a pattern in bowling and found ourselves coming out on top, so we can't ask much more than that, except perhaps continued more test series victories in the future.
A very happy New Zealand captain Geoffrey Howarth in a very jubilant New Zealand dressing room after the match. And we must say at this time that Bob Willis, the England captain tonight, left the ground pretty early, obviously off to celebrate the New Zealand victory with the New Zealand team, because in fact these two teams have got on so very well on a social basis over the last couple of years, and I'm sure Willis will be joining in the celebrations with the team. So with Bob Willis unable to speak to us after the game, I was able to talk to a former test player and the assistant manager of this England touring team, Norman Gifford. Norman, I suppose it goes without saying that your party is pretty disappointed that the way things have turned out here.
Yes, that would be true. Yes, we're disappointed that we've lost the series 1-0, but we've got to get from here now down to Christchurch, and we've got to pick things up and look to win the one-day series.
As far as this test match was concerned, looking at the pitch and the way it's even playing now after 5 days, was there ever a realistic chance of a result here?
I think when we came to Auckland that we always knew that it would be difficult to bowl any side out twice in this test match. When we played a 3-day game here, the wicket was basically the same as it had been in this test match. We picked 5 bowlers, knowing that our work would be, you know, a hard job for us to win the match. But with the weather and the New Zealanders have batted well, we've batted well. The bowlers have toiled for 5 days, really.
So the series was won and lost on the first day at Christchurch. Is that fair comment?
I think that's fair comment, yes. We would be bitterly disappointed in the way we performed on the first day at Christchurch. We should have bowled, I think, New Zealand out for around about 150, but we didn't bowl well enough, and if you don't bowl well enough on the first day when a wicket is going to deteriorate, then you pay the price, and we paid dearly.
The England assistant manager, Norman Gifford. Well, New Zealand won the series by 1-0, certainly an historic moment for New Zealand cricket. The man of the match, the New Zealand wicket-keeper Ian Smith, with his maiden test century and equalling the New Zealand test record of 5 dismissals in a match. That's the test series. Now we look forward to the 3 Rothmans Cup one-day internationals. The first of those is on at Lancaster Park in Christchurch this coming Saturday, so we'll have highlights for that match for you on Saturday night. Good night.